Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome to the city of Pico Rivera. My name is Rene Bobadilla. I'm the city manager, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the city of Pico Rivera's Memorial Day ceremony. Hopefully, today's program will inspire you and fill you with pride for our community and country. Most importantly, we'll be commemorating and thanking the brave men and women of the armed forces who have fought and died for our freedom. We are particularly excited because today's Master of Ceremonies is our very own mayor, the Honorable Bob Archuleta. Not only is he a former combat veteran and paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne Division, but he also served as a presidential appointee under the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, as a member of the Board of Visitors to the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. Additionally, he has served for the Montebello Police Department, the U.S. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, as an appointee on a special advisory committee for Minority Veterans Affairs, and as a chairman of the U.S. Small Business Administration Advisory Committee on Veterans Business Affairs. Bob has received several congressional recognition awards and numerous proclamations for his service, as well as being recognized by the Vietnam Veterans of America, Hispanic American Airborne Association, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and the 11th Airborne Division Association. Please join me in welcoming our Master of Ceremonies, our very own mayor, the Honorable Bob Archuleta.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What an honor it is for me to be here as your Master of Ceremony and your mayor, and to be here with such dignitaries, but obviously, needless to say, with such great veterans and their families. I'm proud to say that the city of Pico Rivera has come together, and we'd like to thank, like no other city in America, because we've given so many of our own. And we have so many right now who are serving, families throughout the city, who have their men and women serving in the military today, right now as I speak, and they're off representing us here in Pico Rivera in this great country. And I'm so proud of the fact that we honor our heroes, remember their achievements, their courage and dedication, and to say thank you for their sacrifices. This is Memorial Day, not Veterans Day. It is Memorial Day, a day we honor both veterans, yes, but we pay tribute to the ones we lost in combat and those who are no longer with us. So Veterans Day is a day in November when we come together, we celebrate, and we wear the yellow ribbons, and we cheer and yell and scream. But today is a day that the tears will come down and the hearts will go heavy, because we remember those we served with, those who lost, and those that are still bleeding right now in their hearts because they remember their fallen buddies and brothers. Ladies and gentlemen, the courage and dedication to say thank you for their sacrifices is never enough. But thinking of the heroes who join us today and those who are here only in spirit, a person cannot help but feel awed by the enormity of what they encountered and the risks they took in order to protect all people and provide freedom for every citizen of the United States. It is amazing that the service they've given, the ultimate sacrifice. Today, this morning, and I will say this, I just want to share this with you. My wife asked me to get the laundry basket, and I reached inside and there was a small sock of my grandson. And I thought for just a second, what if that were my son? What if that were my sister? What if it were my little brother who's not coming home? And I thought for just a second, and it really hit. Imagine what these families are feeling today, on Memorial Day. Throughout the country, on all the cemeteries throughout the country, and especially at Arlington National Cemetery, you look out and you see the tombstones for miles, it seems like, of the hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of our fallen. What a sacrifice. The service members that we honor today came from all walks of life and we share one fundamental belief: God, country, duty, honor. Certain qualities that we hope everyone will possess. They possess courage, pride, determination, selflessness, dedication to duty, and integrity, all qualities needed to serve a greater cause than oneself. Also, let us not forget the families, the Gold Star mothers, the Gold Star wives, the Gold Star families who this day is so very important. And of course, the service members who are not with their buddies. We support, we encourage these brave men and women, and we continue to remember them. To serve our country is an honor, but to remember our fallen also is an honor that bestowed upon us, and a responsibility that we take seriously here in the city of Pico Rivera. We will always appreciate you, we will always appreciate your service, and we will always remember our fallen. So on behalf of the city of Pico Rivera and the entire city council, I thank all the veterans who are here today, and especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice and are looking down upon us, and we thank them for their noble service to our nation. We shall always be recognized here in Pico Rivera as veterans, but there are few that can actually be on the names on the wall behind us. We will remember them, those who courageously gave their lives for our country, and those who fight every single day for our freedom today. We thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as the United States Marine Corps, stationed here in Pico Rivera. And right now, ladies and gentlemen, you listen to the helicopter flying over. LA County Sheriff Chief McDonald sends the helicopter to pay tribute here in Pico Rivera. Veterans, a hand salute. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand over your heart. The helicopter who just flew over, symbolic. So we will always remember one of our own. Ready? Two. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now, Marine Corps, front and center. The Marine station here in Pico Rivera, accompanied by bagpiper David Albelston, will follow with amazing grace. Ladies and gentlemen, we always begin by honoring God and country. Amazing Grace. And now, ladies and gentlemen, invocation by Father Peter Kenny, St. Hilary's Church. Father.
Good morning, everybody. may I request you to reflect just for a few seconds on what we are celebrating, and also perhaps place ourselves in the presence of God. Dear Lord, at a decisive and vital moment in your life, Pilate reminded you that he had the power to set you free or to crucify you. And you calmly responded, any authority you have has been given to you from above. This morning, as we celebrate Memorial Day, I can see a lot of ladies and gentlemen who have a lot of authority. And all of us have some authority. And my prayer is that we will accept that we owe our God a response. Also, brothers and sisters, the very word memorial in memorial services implies that we are also celebrating the return to God, their Creator, of these brave men and women who gave their lives for the freedom of others. Whether they are living or deceased, we ask you, Lord, to remember them, to accept them, to reward them. May all of our discussions, deliberations, and celebrations be a memorial for them. Amen.
Please remain standing for the raising of the flag, ladies and gentlemen. Your attention to the flagpole directly behind the podium. Veterans, hand salute. Ladies and gentlemen, place your hand to your heart. The flag will remain at half-mast. Raising the flag was American Legion Post 411, Commander Steve Campos, American Legion Post 341, Member Paul Camacho, Veterans of Foreign War Post 7734, Commander Armando Cepeda, and Veterans of Foreign War 6315, Senior Vice President Frank Barraza. Ladies and gentlemen, please say with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the national anthem. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, there's something that we're very deeply concerned about, and that is that we honor always our men and women in uniform, and we always remember our fallen. And to remind us of our fallen and their sacrifice, at Arlington National Cemetery, in every cemetery, the American flag is draped over the casket, and then it's unfolded and refolded and given to the next of kin. When the flag is unfolded, it'll be opened and shown for all to see with honor and dignity, representing the men and women who are serving and those who passed. There will be 3 volleys and then taps. And then we will refold the flag.
Ladies and gentlemen, with those with sensitive ears, please cover your ears, especially those with young children.
Please stand, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey! 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 Hey!
As we place taps, veterans render a hand salute. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hand over your heart. Ready? 2. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the flag folding ceremony. As I had mentioned, the flag is over the casket, and the honor guard will begin to fold the flag. And every single fold has a meaning. You will hear it today, some for the first time, some will never forget. The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was founded. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in the eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks, who, not in vain, gave a portion of his life in the defense of our country. To attain peace throughout the world, they shall never be forgotten. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature as American citizens who trust in God It is to him we turn for divine guidance in times of peace as well as in times of war. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country. In the words of the immortal Stephen Decanter, our country and dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our hearts lie. It is our hearts that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to the armed forces. It is through these same armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all of her enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered the valley of the shadow of death, so we see the light of day. This fold is made to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to womanhood. It is through woman's faith, love, loyalty, and devotion that the characters of the men who made this country great were molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father. He has also given his sons for the defense of our country since she was born. The 11th fold represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon. In the eyes of the Hebrew citizen, the lower portion of the seal glorifies the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. The 12th fold represents an emblem of eternity. In the eyes of the Christian citizen, eternity glorifies God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, reminding us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on an appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones, who were followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, preserving for all of us the rights, privileges, and freedoms we enjoy today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the folding of the American flag at graveside. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I direct your attention to the table to my right and to your left, the POW MIA table. Sergeant, front and center, and be posted. Ladies and gentlemen, to the rear, you see the flagpole, the American flag, and beneath it is the black POW MIA flag, representing the prisoners of war, MIA, missing in action. We who serve this great country, and all of you who love America, must never forget our POWs and our MIAs. And we have a table here to remember them. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the POW MIA table, as I mentioned, right below to my right. As you entered the event area this morning, you may have noticed it. It is a small white table here in a place of honor. It is set for one. This table is a way of symbolizing the fact that the members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are commonly called POWs, prisoners of war, or MIAs, missing in action. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with us this morning, but they are here with us forever in spirit, and they will never be forgotten. Ladies and gentlemen, on the table, again, it is set for one. It is small, symbolizing the frailty of the prisoner alone against his oppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose displayed on the vase reminds us of the families and loved ones of their commanders in arms who keep faith awaiting their return. The red ribbon tied to the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the lapel and breast of thousands who bear witness to their unyielding determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. A slice of lemon is on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. There is salt upon the table, symbolic of the families, the tears they await. The glass is inverted, They cannot toast with us today. The chair is empty. They are not here with us, only in spirit. Remember all of you who served with them and called them comrades, who depended upon their might and their aid and relied upon them for surety. They have not forsaken you. Ladies and gentlemen, veterans, America, please never forget our POWs, MIAs. Thank you, Sergeant. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, if you got up early, you may have seen our President, our Commander-in-Chief. Regardless of political backgrounds or persuasion, that is not the point. Our Commander-in-Chief laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington. And today, this morning, we will do the same here in Pico Rivera. Remembering that we lost a brother, a sister, thousands upon thousands gave their life for our country. Laying the wreath will be by the Ladies Auxiliary, American Legion Post 411, President Rosie Rios, American Legion Post 341, President Sandra Thomas, VFW Post 7734, President Jane Pena, and VFW Post 6315, President Charlene Huebner. Ladies, will you please lay the wreath?
Thank you very much. I appreciate it very, very much.
In the military, everything we do is symbolic. Whether we salute one another, whether we say good morning with a loud, vigorous voice, whether we make sure that boots are shined and the uniform is sparkling. Whatever it is, it's always to be the best of the best. And our veterans here, representing all branches of the military, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Merchant Marines, are the best of the best. And we acknowledge their service and our fallen. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as we lay the wreath at the base of our monument here in Pico Rivera, the Eternal Flame. Veterans, hand salute. Ladies and gentlemen, place your hand over your heart and a moment of silence. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe it would be very fitting and appropriate to give these ladies a warm thank you. When we think of the Gold Star mothers, the Gold Star wives, we think of the women who we left behind. And I always say to every veteran who I've met, and I remember our first day in basic training or boot camp or whatever it was, I said, your first letter may have told your buddies that it was to your girlfriend, but no, it was to your mother. Be honest, it was to your mother. So ladies, thank you for doing that for us today. God love you. And speaking of love, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have with us someone today who loves this city as much as I do, as much as you do, because she represents our city in the 1st District. Ladies and gentlemen, will you welcome our supervisor, Hilda Solis.
Buenos dias. And good morning to all of you. And thank you for the lovely invitation to come and join you today in such a humbling and honorable Memorial Day ceremony. Today, as you know, we honor and take solace in the ultimate sacrifice many of our loved ones who came and gave the ultimate, their lives. Today, we take a moment throughout our country and our nation and our neighborhoods and our communities and places like Pico Rivera and think within our hearts and pay homage to those fallen soldiers, men and women. And we provide recognition through this very special and significant ceremony. Only one can imagine the countless heroic acts that have taken place, that have taken the lives of 1.3 million servicemen and women that have sacrificed their lives to defend our freedoms over the course of our nation's history. We find ourselves gathered here today at this Pico Rivera Veterans and Eternal Flame Memorial, together, unidos, to reflect on the lives of our true heroes. Not only are they heroes, they are our family members, our friends, our brothers, our sisters, our mothers, our fathers, our grandparents, and in many cases, our children. As a community, we recognize their ultimate courage. We remember their smiles, their laughter, and in doing so, it may bring a fond memory back, a memory that lives within us. We find ourselves with that warm feeling, knowing that our loved ones, as their last act, acted in a selfless manner and in a defense of our freedoms, which allow us all to celebrate today. Today, we let our fallen heroes know we remember. We remember their ultimate sacrifice, a sacrifice that will not live in vain, a sacrifice that we will honor and ensure that generations to come will remember. In honor of our fallen heroes, I'd like to mention just a few names of those heroes who represent Pico Rivera. Today, we remember Sergeant Arthur A. Mora, Jr., born and raised in Pico Rivera, served in the 5th Squadron, 7th Cavalry Regiment, 3rd Infantry Division, passed away October 19, 2005 in Balad, Iraq, during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He survived by his 2 children and wife, Veronica Mora, whom flew in from Iowa to be with us today. Our hearts and prayers are with you. Today, we also remember Master Sergeant Emilio E. Elizaras of the 3rd Battalion, 7th Special Forces Group, who passed away in Tarin Kaut, Afghanistan, on February 28, 2006, while serving his country during Operation Enduring Freedom. He survived by his wife and 3 children. These are just a few of the many stories of the brave men and women who've sacrificed their lives to serve our country and the county of Los Angeles. Today, as a community, we shall honor the selfless acts of courage for all of those who have served and perished in the line of duty. I'm reminded also to salute our firefighters and our law enforcement officers, our sheriffs. I'm extremely proud and honored because they also serve our great country. We ask so much of our military personnel. We ask them to put their lives on hold. We ask them to leave their loved ones behind. We ask them to embark on dangerous missions across the world. To those who sacrifice to protect our great nation, it is with sincere, heartfelt thanks that I say to you. I want to express a great deal of gratitude to all of the Gold Star families, the men and women and children, and for the sacrifices that they have also had to endure. Also, I want to give thanks to all of the military families, the city of Pico Rivera, the veterans organizations, American Legion Post 411, American Legion Post Veterans of Foreign War Post 7734, Gulf Company 2nd Battalion, 23rd Marines, Boy Scouts and Cub Scouts of America, Troop 115, the City Council of Pico Rivera, the City Manager, Rene Bobadilla, Mayor Pro Tem Gustavo Camacho, and also to Father Peter Kenny for leading us in the invocation, and my very, very good friend, Mayor Bob Archuleta. Muchísimas gracias for this opportunity to be with you and to salute all of you. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, she serves this great community. Hilda Solis, obviously, she's got to get to the rest of her district, and I think the next stop could be Montebello, could be Baldwin Park, could be Azusa. I don't know how many stops she has today, but we'd like to thank her for being here. Let's give her another round of applause. Hilda Solis, our supervisor. Thank you. And if you travel the world, when you say the name California, everyone says that is a great state. And yes, it is, because we have great representatives. And representing us in Sacramento, ladies and gentlemen, our state, Senator Tony Mendoza, ladies and gentlemen. Tony?
Good morning, everybody. I am honored to be on this stage with a great group of individuals who care deeply about their community. I want to thank Mayor Bob Archuleta, the rest of the City Council, the City Manager. I want to thank also some of the people in attendance they'll be having their special guest. Edward Hernandez, a Silver Star recipient. Danny Hernandez, also Silver Star and Purple Heart recipient. Ronnie Camara, Gold Star wife. I tell you, I want to thank all the military men, women, and families, our veterans. It's a ladies auxiliary. Having brothers that have served in the military, I tell you, my mom spent many nights thinking and praying, making sure that they come home safely. I thank you for all you do and all the prayers that you give for our veterans. Memorial Day is a special day because we honor and pay tribute and respect to the 1.3 million Americans who fought bravely and died protecting our freedoms. These men and women demonstrated extraordinary fearlessness and allegiance to our country. If it was not for the selfless sacrifice of the service men and women of our past and present, we would not be here enjoying the liberty that we sometimes take for granted. I am proud to represent the city of Pico Rivera and I'm honored for being here and being a part of this great demonstration of love for our community. I have a special place in my heart for the families who have lost loved ones in battle. One quote that stands with me and I want to share before I close is one by John F. Kennedy. He said, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." And that's what our soldiers do day in and day out. I just want to end by saying thank you, Pico Rivera, for honoring our servicemen and women. I want to thank God for blessing them, and I want to thank God and ask Him to continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you so much. I have a certificate that I would like to present to the mayor, if he could step forward. It reads, "On behalf of the 32nd Senate District, I applaud the city's dedication in keeping the memory alive of our courageous soldiers who sacrificed their lives to protect the freedoms of the United States. These honorable men and women will never be forgotten, and Pico Rivera will make sure of that." Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you so very much. The city of Pico Rivera is continuously being honored. There's a lot of things that we're doing in Pico Rivera, but none greater than what we're doing today. And over to my left and your right, you see the row of the firefighters representing Engine Fire Company 40, 25, and 103. Regardless of what you think, who's better looking, the police or the fire? Because I served with the Montebello Police Department, so you know where my vote is. But I will give a vote to the firefighters, and I'm going to do something a little bit different and out of my script here. Gentlemen, I'd like you to look among yourselves and send me your ranking officer. Send them front and center up to the stage. Let's do that immediately. Now they're looking at one another and said, I said ranking officer. I didn't say good looking. I didn't say who has the big money. I didn't say who's buying lunch. I said the ranking officer. Commander Johnson, front and center. Pat Valdez, front and center. Captain Reyes, front and center. Ladies and gentlemen, behind me stand the leaders of the LA County Fire Department and, of course, the LA County Sheriff's Department. And today we've got 2 captains, 1 commander, and we've got a leader chosen among his own, and we're giving him, I think we're going to make you an honorary captain today. I can do that. I'm the mayor. So, gentlemen, when you get back to the fire station, you will address him as captain. And then you'll ask him to take out the trash. I know how it works. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, behind me stand some of the best in the county of Los Angeles. But one thing is so important we have to remember. Among their ranks, they represent thousands upon thousands who served in LA County, who went off to war, came home, and volunteered to be firefighters or volunteered to be in law enforcement. So I'd like to begin with Commander Johnson, who is the commander who wears the 1 star. So I'd like him to address us this morning on behalf of the sheriff himself. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Commander Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you for the invitation to come here and be a part of this ceremony. I am Roosevelt Johnson. I'm a commander with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. I'm here today representing Sheriff Jim McDonald on behalf of all of the men and women of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. We share in your sacrifice and the families that have sacrificed their loved ones on this Memorial Day. I am a United States Navy veteran myself. Thank you. I'm really happy to see the Pico Rivera and the showing the support that's come out here. I see veterans from all over here, from all the different branches of combat throughout the country, and I know that each one of you share your own grief in terms of your comrades that have fallen in the line of duty. Thank you again on behalf of the 20,000 men and women from the Sheriff's Department and a grateful Sheriff's Department for those families that have sacrificed their loved ones here today. May God bless you, your family, and the United States of America. Thank you.
And the guests that I've invited, I met Commander Johnson yesterday at another facility, or not facility, another event that I was Master of Ceremonies in Los Angeles, and I met him. We struck up a friendship. And of course, his sidekick was with him, Captain Reyes, and I asked Captain Reyes also to join us. So let's give him a Pico Rivera welcome. Captain Reyes.
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'm very honored to be here today in this fine city of Pico Rivera and to be invited to this just wonderful program today. And it signifies a very, very important holiday, and that is the Memorial Day, where we gather to remember all of those who have sacrificed their lives in defense of our country and to allow us to live in this wonderful country and the freedom that we enjoy. So I'm very, very honored. I'm very humbled to be amongst all of the veterans, the men and women who are actively serving in the military. And it's just, again, it's just very, very humbling, and I'm very, very honored. God bless you all, and God bless the United States of America.
And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who have not met our Chief of Police, and I call him our Chief of Police here in the city of Pico Rivera, he's our own LA County captain, representing the sheriff every single day that he puts on the uniform. But more importantly, he represents all of us here in our Pico Rivera station, our very own captain, and who I call our Chief of Police. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our own Pat Valdez.
Well, good morning. Pico Rivera. Nobody does it like Pico Rivera, right? So if we're gonna honor, exactly. Let's give us a round of applause. Pico Rivera. I'm telling you, Pico Rivera is on the map, right? And I grew up in the city of Montebello, and the mayor and I had a long conversation about that. Is growing up as a kid, I will tell you this, is that people looked at you and said, where do you live? You live in, everybody want to live in Montebello. I can tell you that has changed. Where do people want to live now? They want to live in this beautiful community that gives back to their community and honor our military veterans. It's a tough day, but we are here to support you. Nobody supports our military veterans the way the city of Pico Rivera does. So I'm not going to say any more than these guys said it behind me already. God bless each and every one of you. I look forward to serving this community, and God bless America. Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, representing all the firefighters throughout the county of Los Angeles, but especially here, Fire Engine 40, 25, and 103, Honorary Captain Bill Brogan. Honorary Captain. Bill, you've got it.
Thank you, sir. Yesterday I had the unique opportunity. My stepfather came back from Oklahoma, and I was looking at his truck and his Vietnam veteran sticker on the back of his truck, and it made me feel how happy I is. And I just want the veterans to know that we care about you, we respect you, we thank you for your service. And some of the medical problems that you guys, that the men and women endure from the military, when we come to your homes, we try to take care of you. And we understand what you're going through. We understand there are tough times ahead. And I just want to say thank you. And for the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, the City of Pico Rivera, since I grew up about 4 miles from here, one of the best relationships we've ever had with the Police Department and the LA County Sheriff's Department. And great times for us right now. For Engine 40, 25, and 103s to be here is very special. Many of the fire and police that you see today are veterans. We have several standing over there, and we thank them also. And I say thank you very much for your support.
Ladies and gentlemen, they say you can't pick your relatives, but you sure can pick your friends. And I'm so blessed and honored that when I was with these firefighters the other day and I said, gentlemen, I wish you'd do me a favor, honor us by being with us on Memorial Day. And one said, without a doubt. The next one said, we'll be there for you, Mayor. The other one said, we'll be there for you. And sure enough, are they here? They are. Thank you. To all the men and women who serve this great country or wearing the badge, please continue. Do it with honor, do it with dignity, and do it with pride, because you know we love you. Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. I hope you didn't mind I took that out of my list of things to do, but I think it was so fitting. And I think we have Christina Garcia. Do we have a representative from the Assemblies? No? Hilda Solis left my cards. I hate to do this, ladies and gentlemen, but we have a little timeout here. Let me, I'm going to put this on hold for just a second. I had some cards that gave me our speakers. Nothing is here. Ah, there it is. Okay. This is the one with the ring on it, ladies and gentlemen. I missed this one. Okay. Of course, representing the 38th District, as you know, is our Congresswoman, Linda Sanchez. And Griselda Ortiz, is she here? No? Well, let's give a big round of applause to our Congresswoman, Linda Sanchez. And then Christina Garcia, did we have a representative? Edgar Estrada, is he in the house? Edgar, yes, please, come on up. I want you to say a couple of words on behalf of Christina Garcia, our representative. We want to give everyone an equal opportunity and to say hello and greet this beautiful crowd here in Pico Rivera. Edgar, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of Assembly Member Christina Garcia, it is my honor to be here with all the families of all the families who had veterans and who have lost a family member or just a friend. It's moments like these that we remember the fallen, but we remember in a way where we all come together. This is a support system, and the only way to move forward from these and to really pay tribute to everyone who supported and represented our country is by coming together and supporting the families of those who have lost one. And so with that, I really want to say thank you to everyone, and please, and thank you, Mayor, for hosting this, and to the City of Pico Rivera for hosting this such a great event. And Pico Rivera always has a great, support of people who come out here every year, and it gets that much better. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to acknowledge some of the men and women who made today so very special and put this together. And of course, that is our city of Pico Rivera and the guy who runs this organization on a daily basis, where the city council, we're in and out of the city, in and out on a continuous basis, but there's one man holding the fort and making sure the fire department is running well, the sheriff's department is running well, the employees, and everything is doing well. And that's our very own city manager. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Rene Bobadilla, our city manager. And a good man always needs a good assistant. And with him today is our assistant city manager, Ben Cardenas. The community and economic development director, Steve Carmona. Is Steve here with us? There, way in the back. Let's give Steve a round of applause. Steve, I apologize for giving you my cold. I told you not to shake my hand a few days ago. And of course, with us, is our city clerk, Anna Jerome. Anna, where are you? Let's give her, there she is in the middle of the audience. Thank you, Anna. And our Parks and Recreation Director, Arlene Salazar, who put this all together. Arlene, wherever you are, thank you so very much. Human Resources Director, Maurice Sebastian. Maurice, where are you? There, way in the back. A Navy veteran, I understand. Is that correct, the Navy? I noticed you walked a little funny. I got it. The Navy. I'll hear about that one later, won't I? I guess I owe you lunch, Maurice. But ladies and gentlemen, seriously, these are the people that put these events together, run the city, and as I mentioned before, protecting us, property and lives, and making sure that we're safe. Our very own, our Pico Rivera Sheriff's Captain Patrick Valdez. One more time. And once again from our Parks and Recreation, our Commissioners, Chair Joseph Palumbi, right over there with his son Joseph Palumbi. St. John Bosco Brave just got his Letterman jacket. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen, that little young Brave with his new Letterman jacket. Varsity Letterman jacket. How about that? When I had him put it on this morning, he goes, Uncle Bob, do I have to do that? Yes, you do. And our Vice Chair, Dr. Monica Sanchez. There she is. Stand up, Monica, take a bow. Of our Parks and Recreation. And also with us is Commissioner John Garcia. John, thank you for the work you do with our veterans, by the way. There he is. And Commissioner Pat Salcido. Commissioner, thank you for your service. And making sure the buildings are right and everything is done correctly when it comes to construction. Our planning commissioners. We have our past chair and current commissioner, Esther Solis. Esther, where are you? There she is. And Fred Germano. Is he here, Fred? Let's give Fred a big round of applause. And before I go any further, ladies and gentlemen, before I get in trouble, and I will have to take out the trash, my wife, Rose. Rose, will you stand up and be recognized? Thank you, sweetheart. We cannot do it alone, ladies and gentlemen. It takes all of us to work so hard that it is amazing the things we do. But also we have one of our board of directors from the chamber, Julian Valderas. Julian, where are you? Julian, there he is. Chamber. Gustavo Contreras, where are you? From the Planning Commission or Sister Cities Commission? Gustavo, thank you so much. Fred Germino, Planning Commission. Fred, are you here? Let's give him a big round of applause. I know you're here somewhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to take time out to do that because when we have an organization so well run and put together as we have, it's amazing that when people come to Pico Rivera for the very first time, and I don't know how many are here for the very, very first time, but I want to share with you the city of Pico Rivera is a very welcoming city. We love our city of Pico Rivera, our parks and recs, Our streets are open for you. Our shopping centers. We are a city of honor, and we are a city that's growing. But our growth and what we do will never, ever equal for the love that we have for our veterans. Am I right? For our veterans. Yes, we do. And I know our representatives, when they come out here and they see what we see here today, it's amazing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've gotten everyone, and we'll go ahead and continue. The ceremony today has been a very solemn ceremony, but yet at the same time, we tried to bring light to it because so many have done so much. This ceremony and event today is dedicated to thanking and honoring all the veterans, including the Vietnam War era veterans. In the past, we've honored our World War II veterans. We've honored our World War II veterans who fought in the Philippines, in Guam, and Normandy. We've honored our Korean War veterans who fought bravely in Korea, and those who served from 1950 to 53. And now we're honoring our Vietnam era veterans. Welcome home to our Vietnam era veterans. And on Veterans Day, we invite you to come in November where we'll honor our Gulf War, Persian Gulf, Iraq, and Afghanistan veterans, and we'll put them all together and we'll honor. And they're our children now and our grandchildren who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yes? So we're going to honor them in November. But right now, our tribute is to those who served during the Vietnam War era. And we're honoring their families and especially those who lost loved ones in the war. Let us not forget that over 58,148 Americans were killed during the Vietnam War era. The war began on February 28, 1961, and lasted through May the 7th, 1975. For veterans who served in the Republic of Vietnam during that period, otherwise August 5th, 1964, through May 7th, 1975. The Vietnam War was a long, costly armed conflict that pitted the communist regime of North Vietnam and the Southern Allies, known as Viet Cong, against South Vietnam and its principal ally, the United States. The war began with the rise of power of Ho Chi Minh and his Communist Viet Minh Party in North Vietnam, and continued against the backdrop of an intense Cold War between two global superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. More than 3 million people, including the 58,148 Americans, were killed in Vietnam during that war. More than half were Vietnamese civilians. By 1969, at the peak of U.S. involvement in the war, more than 500,000 U.S. military personnel were involved in the Vietnam conflict. Growing opposition to the war in the United States led to bitter division among Americans, both before and after. President Richard Nixon ordered the withdrawal of U.S. forces in 1973. In 1975, communist forces seized control of Saigon, ending the Vietnam War, and the country was unified by the Socialist Republic of Vietnam the following year. In 1982, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was unveiled in Washington, D.C. On it, inscribed are the names of 57,939 American armed forces killed or missing during the war. Later additions brought that total to 58,200. As your mayor, I would like to introduce my esteemed colleagues, David Armenta, who will also say a few words. So ladies and gentlemen, let me share the microphone with one of my greatest allies on the City Council, David Armenta.
First of all, can we give a round of applause to our mayor? What a great job he does, doesn't he? Bob, thank you. And if we can give a round of applause to you, each and every one of you, for being here. Pico Rivera is as great as it is because of you, each and every one of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing in this event, in this Memorial Day, because we do it for you. That's how much you mean to us. But today, we are gathered as a community to honor those who have fought the fight and paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we may be free. free to walk our streets, free to travel where we want to, free to express what we'd like to. Because of the people that have fought the fight and have given their ultimate, we are able to do that. The City of Pico Rivera thanks all of our past and current veterans for their service to our country and to this community. Thank you very much. Words can't ever say enough to all the veterans and the veterans that have given the ultimate, their lives. Thank you. God bless. Words can't say enough, so just thank you, God.
Thank you, Councilman David Armenta. Also, best wishes are sent by Councilman Greg Salcido, Brent Tessero, and Gustavo Camacho, who are very much involved with their families today. And I'd like to thank so many, but ladies and gentlemen, we have to thank those who are here today, who are honoring our veterans, our fallen. And I would like to begin to share with you, behind me is the eternal flame. There was a time in this city, somebody said, I think we ought to turn that off, it's wasting too much money. And I'm so proud that David Armenta, myself, and other council members said, no, that flame will go on. That is an eternal flame to remember our fallen. And it's on today. And it will stay there. Right, David? The city of Pico Rivera will not forget its fallen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, just beneath the flame, there's a plaque of names. And these names represent our fallen who lived here in the city of Pico Rivera, grew up here, walked the streets, played the parks. Some went to El Rancho High School, some went to local schools, but they all have one common denominator. They loved our country, and they gave their lives to prove that love. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pay tribute to them. So at this time, join me in a moment of silence as we pay tribute to our fallen military personnel who served in the American Armed Forces. And I will now read the names, and we will begin. Please, a moment of silence. May they rest in peace. So, ladies and gentlemen, after I read each name, there will be a ringing of the bell. And by Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department Deputy Brian S. Perez, or Ugueta, who is also a U.S. Army veteran. He was a Sergeant E5 and worked as a tank gunner, and he was chosen among his fellow deputies to take that honor, to ring the bell. Captain Valdez, thank you for choosing him as well. We utilize these traditions to reflect honor and bestow respect upon those who gave so much and have served this country so well. To symbolize the devotion that these brave souls had for their duty, a special ceremonial ringing of the bell. Each name will be read and the bell will be rung. The very first is Sergeant Ronald L. Lewis, United States Army. Private, First Class, Ruben Maximilio Armenta, Marines. Corporal Frank Morales III, United States Army. Lance Corporal James Albert Bota, United States Marines. Private Barry Edward Brown, United States Army. Corporal Arthur John Castillo, United States Army. Sergeant Jesus Ernest Chavez, Jr., United States Army. Private, First Class, Jose M. Chavez, United States Army. Private, Salvador Chavez, United States Army. Private, First Class, Ronald Harry Chincolt, United States Army. Private, First Class, Frank Smith Grigiano, United States Marine Corps. Specialist E4, Ray Glenn Desmond, United States Army. Master Sergeant Emiliano Elizares, United States Army. Specialist E4, Sam Joseph Favata, United States Army. Corporal Ifiliano D. Guerrero, United States Army. Corporal Luis Hernandez, United States Army. Private First Class George Albert Juarez, United States Marines. Private First Class Edward Leonard Lowe, United States Marines. Sergeant Arthur Mora, Jr., United States Army. Private First Class Timothy Craig Nunley, United States Army. Specialist E4 Alfonso Olmos, United States Army. Lance Corporal Ronald Edward Peña, United States Marine Corps. Seaman Julian Ponce, United States Navy. Sergeant Joseph R. Ramirez, United States Marines. Lance Corporal Raymond Ruiz, United States Marines. Private Ruben Reyes Saavedra, United States Army. Lance Corporal Gilbert Solano Salazar, United States Marines. Corporal William Isaac Salazar, United States Marines. Private Thomas William Shaw, United States Army. Private First Class Michael Owen Shelley, United States Army. Sergeant John Raymond Staltler, United States Army. Private First Class Ismael Jose Valdez, Jr., United States Marines. Private First Class Jimmy Vasquez, United States Army. Specialist E5 Ignacio Villalobos, United States Army. Lance Corporal Jose Edward Villanova, United States Army. Private First Class Richard Edward Whiting, United States Army. 36 names on our wall, ladies and gentlemen, and we shall remember them. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to also remember a couple of people that we've invited because of the fact that they did so much in service to our country. One served in the United States Marine Corps and the other served in the United States Army. And ladies and gentlemen, these are recipients of the Silver Star. First up, Specialist E4 Edward L. Hernandez, United States Army. Will you please stand and be recognized? Also recipient of the Purple Heart. Thank you, brother. Welcome home. Purple Heart recipient PFC, United States Army, William Valdez. Please stand and be recognized. And ladies and gentlemen, we have with us Silver Star recipient, United States Marine Corps, Danny L. Hernandez, who I've known for a number of years. I was there when they awarded him his Purple Heart. I was there when he was awarded his Silver Star. I was honored to call him my friend for a number of years, but I'd like to share Danny's story with us. And if I can have the representative from the Sheriff's Department bring the bell back out, if you would, please. And I hope he is still here, is he? Can we have the bell back? I'm asking for the bell for a very special reason. Is it possible? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, so many gave their lives and so many did so much, but this one individual I need to acknowledge today because he made it home. By the hair of his, I'm telling you, the good Lord was watching over him. Ladies and gentlemen, a good friend of mine, Sergeant Hernandez, United States Marine, who served in Vietnam in 1966 in Mike Company. 3.1, his gallant actions earned him the Silver Star and Purple Heart. Sergeant Hernandez fought in one of the bloodiest battles in history, Operation Utah. Operation Utah took place in the northwest Quai Trenang, lasting from March 4 all the way to March 6, 1966. For Sergeant Hernandez, who fought in Operation Utah, Memorial Day is one that is very personal. Not only did he encounter his fellow brothers and saw them die in his arms and in combat, During this battle, Hernandez was evacuated after being shot in the head and back on a helicopter as the only living soldier remaining, with dozens of fallen Marines casualties taken home for the last time. As Sergeant Hernandez was lifted from the ground in the helicopter at nightfall, the blood of his fellow wounded Marines and dead Marines covered his wounded body, setting in the reality of ultimate sacrifice taken by our military. Memorial Day is a day to recognize the greatest warriors in the world who sacrificed their life for our country. And we're so blessed today to have one and so many who came home. And in the audience, we have so many who served in all branches of service during all wars, and they're home with us. We honor you. And today, the city of Pico Rivera has a new friend. And I'd like to think that Sergeant Hernandez realizes that he has a new family here in the city of Pico Rivera. And I would like to have the bell rung for the number of men who died around him. Ladies and gentlemen, to my right, the recipient of the Silver Star and Purple Heart, Sergeant Danny Hernandez. Welcome home. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Danny got a call from me, I think it was yesterday. I said, Danny, I know who you are, I know what you believe in, and I know what you've done. And I know that so many of your fellow Marines did not come home with you. So I'd like to have the city of Pico Rivera, the warmest, most loving city that I know of, do something special for you and your fellow Marines. These are the Marines that he lost in combat around him. Are you ready? Where is the Sheriff's Department? As I said, this is not scripted. Well, Danny, we might be the greatest city in the county of Los Angeles, perhaps the nation, but sometimes we don't get it right every time. So, Captain Valdez, if he were not a veteran, he would be in my office tomorrow morning. The letter would read, you have a meeting with the mayor, you're in trouble. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a warm heart in Pico Rivera. We do honor our own, and for me to have found Danny to say, hey, come on to the Pico Rivera, you'll find that even though you live in the city of Commerce, and you shop in Pico Rivera, you've played in our parks, you have friends who live here in Pico Rivera, and a lot of your buddies that you served with live here in Pico Rivera. I think the greatest tribute we can give you, Danny, is to acknowledge your fallen. And now we will ring the bell for each one of your buddies. Sergeant Crutchfield, United States Marine Corps. Corporal W.D. McLean, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Roden, United States Marine Corps. PFC McGee, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Davis, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Gleason, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Dulster, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Anderson, United States Marine Corps. Corporal Aviles, United States Marine Corps. PFC Rodriguez, United States Marine Corps. PFC Jennings, United States Marine Corps. PFC Shepard, United States Marine Corps. PFC L. Hernandez, United States Marine Corps. All lost their lives in battle. Danny made it home. Danny, welcome home. Thank you for your service. If we make this ceremony special, if we make it personal, we've done our job. And I think we've made it very personal for you, Danny, and your wife, Beatrice. Beatrice, thank you for being here, sweetheart. We love you too. Thank you. To our wives. Oh my God, it is tough. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to continue we have a Gold Star wife with us today. And as I had mentioned, the Gold Star families. The Gold Star families, these are families who lost someone in service to our country. Could have been the father, the mother, the sister, the brother. It was a family member who lost their lives while serving in combat. And as I said earlier, when I picked up that sock this morning and I thought for a second, that could be my son. That could have been someone in my family who I lost. But I was very fortunate that my two sons, Brandon and Matthew, who you know, you've met, are both serving, both paratroopers, both Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, recipients of Bronze Stars. They are serving. And I thank God every day that they're safe and they're home. But when we have a family member who doesn't come home, you think about that. When that vehicle shows up in front of your house and those military men come up to the door and they knock and they have something in their hand, and the wife, the mother, they fall to their knees because they know it is a letter from the President of the United States offering their condolences for that loved one who's lost his life. And they're called Gold Star family members, but today we have a Gold Star wife, a special guest because she lost her husband. Ladies and gentlemen, Victoria Mora is a proud Gold Star wife, surviving military spouse of a Pico Rivera hometown hero, our own Sergeant Arthur Mora. I read his name a few minutes ago. His name is on the wall. He was killed in action on October 19, 2005, while defending Operation Iraqi Freedom in Iraq. Widowed at 22, with 3 small children, she wondered, what would the next step be in life? What would her young family do? Following the advice of her mother, she volunteered with local nonprofits in hopes that she would find her niche in life, that she would keep herself together and stay close to military families and the communities, advocating on behalf of the various types of military families, most especially surviving families, would become her life's calling. Since her husband's death, she has been an avid voice for the Gold Star community. She has sat on numerous executive boards for veteran service organizations as Gold Star liaison and represents Gold Star families in various national events, including the 2016 Wreath Across America. Most recently, she was selected to be the guest speaker and represent Gold Star families at the Ohio State Capitol for the wreath laying ceremony on May 25th, 2017. Currently, she works part-time as outreach coordinator for the veterans and the Veterans That Matter. And she's a full-time student at the University of Toledo, where she is working towards her bachelor's in social work, specializing in veterans health. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our city of Pico Rivera, where her husband walked these streets, played here, because he is our hometown hero. Ladies and gentlemen, Veronica Mora.
Good afternoon. I stand humbly before you and ask that you all remember the sacrifices that were made by the valiant few to serve this country. Every day, not just one calendar day, we as a nation should pay tribute to our American heroes, both living and deceased. For all gave some, and some gave all. I'm the proud Gold Star wife of Army Sergeant Arthur Mora, Jr., who was killed in action by an improvised explosive device, also known as an IED, on October 19, 2005, in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom. The next evening, October 20th, my family was notified of his death via an Army notification officer and chaplain. For those who have a loved one in the service, a knock on the door is your worst nightmare come to life. We regret to inform you that was all they could get out before I collapsed on the front porch, sobbing in disbelief that my hero, my husband, was gone. Our only son, Christopher, had just arrived the week before on October 11th. my family had gone from the highest of highs with the new addition of our bouncing baby boy to the lowest of the lows, the loss of our family's patriarch, our beloved hero. Art was gone. Widowed at 22 with 3 small children, our life had taken a drastic turn. No more cutting paper strips for our see you later chain, each paper link representing a number of days survived through the deployment. The start of this new life began with burial plots, headstone design, and a flag draped casket. He died just 94 days into his deployment. He was 23. Today is Memorial Day. Up until 12 years ago, I saw it as an extra day to barbecue with family, shop for bargains at the local stores, or get some flowers planted in my garden. And I was married to a soldier. What a difference time will do to you. Unless you have kissed a flag-draped coffin, saluted a soldier's cross, or grasped a folded flag until you were white-knuckled, today will not strike a nerve. My children have and will continue to grow up sending messages of love via balloon to heaven so that their dad can hear about their life's latest accomplishments. They kiss and hug a cold headstone at the cemetery rather than feel the warm embrace of his arms and scratchy stubble on his face. Not a day goes by where we do not say his name or tell a story about him. My Arthur is gone and will never come back to me, to us. On this last Monday in May, I will be thinking of all the families and friends whose loved ones have paid the ultimate sacrifices for the freedoms we take for granted. To the parents who have outlived their children, I don't believe there is a greater pain, and my heart aches for you. For my fellow widows and widowers who will face today with strength and courage because of all the memories the day brings, please know that I'm with you too. I will be thinking of the siblings who lost their first friends and the friends who lost their brothers and sisters in arms. As close as I am to my own siblings and friends, it is difficult to fathom a life without them. Most especially, I will be thinking of all the children of all ages who have to grow up without a father or mother to help raise and guide them through life's triumphs and obstacles. Watching my own children go through life without their dad is heartbreaking. This is a pain that not even the strongest of bandages can help. So today, on your extra day off, take a minute and think of those who are missing from the barbecues, the stores, and the gardens. They gave their tomorrow for your today. Thank you.
Our condolences, Veronica. When I said earlier that first letter that we wrote as veterans when we were in basic training was sent to mom, and then later, of course, they're sent to the girlfriend and boyfriend and that sort of thing, and then as time takes it goes forward, and a lot of us who served find that their buddies are getting married and starting a family, and so many young families today are just like this, Gold Star families, who the wives or even husbands realize that their wife was killed in a roadside bomb, or their husband was killed in a helicopter crash, or whatever it was, but they gave their lives for our country, and today is so very, very special. So today we continue to honor one of our own. Today our keynote speaker is Pico Rivera hometown hero, Corporal, United States Marine Corps, Larry Jimenez. Born in Arizona and raised in Montebello, he attended Montebello High School. Larry enlisted in the United States Marine Corps on December 3rd, 1963. Larry's military deployments included 8 years at Camp Pendleton, jungle warfare training, and Camp Gonzalez, located in northern Okinawa in Japan, and 13 months of Vietnam warfare from 1965 to 67. After completing active duty, Larry remained as a reserve for 2 additional years. Larry was part of the graduating class of 1969 from East LA College, majoring in business administration. Larry worked for the Douglas Aircraft Company, an aerospace manufacturer based in Southern California. Larry moved to Pico Rivera, where he calls it his hometown, in 2006, after working 39 years as a site superintendent for the Carpenters Union. Larry retired and enjoys spending time with his 2 daughters, son-in-law, 5 grandchildren, and a great-grandchild. Larry enjoys being a member of the American Legion Post 411 and the Veterans of Foreign War Post 7734 here in Pico Rivera, and where he calls it his home. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our newest member to our community. Even though it's in 2006, he is now one of our hometown heroes. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for our very own United States Marine Corps, Larry Jimenez.
Thank you for being here today. I am deeply honored to stand here with you, commemorating the sacrifice of those military men and women who have laid down their lives in service to this nation. I would like to take a moment and acknowledge any of those among us who have lost a loved one in the line of duty to this country. It doesn't matter how much time has passed, no words of condolence can ever begin to adequately console a survivor's grief. Let me just say that I have the greatest respect and appreciation of their contribution and sacrifice, and we are proud to honor them today. On Memorial Day, we often find ourselves reflecting on those individuals who so bravely risk their lives, limbs, in the face of grave danger. It is, of course, fitting today that we remember those who sacrificed their lives in an attempt to save their comrades in arms. These individuals, so many like them, live in the same of the most courageous heroes in our history. Those in the military and veteran communities know that we must ensure that these individuals are never forgotten and that their actions stay alive in our memories. But for most veterans, it is the men and women we served alongside who, through their service and sacrifice for others, live on as heroes in our hearts forever. While few received the nation's highest honor, many gave their lives in uniform, and many more were taken from us as a result of injuries or illness contracted in service. People like 21-year-old Marine Lance Corporal Joshua Bernard, who was killed in action in August of 2009 in Afghanistan when he was hit by a Taliban rocket-propelled grenade. Or a mother of 3, Army Specialist Karina Bell Johnson, who was killed in February 2005 in a vehicle accident in Iraq. Or Army First Lieutenant Sharon Ann Lane, who died from shrapnel wounds in June of 1969 when the 312 evacuation hospital in Vietnam was hit by rockets. The individuals like Marine Captain James Graham. Graham led a fierce assault on enemy positions in Vietnam in 1967. Saving his men, though wounded himself, chose to stay beside a mortal wounded Marine, while fellow Marines pulled back behind friendly lines. He died protecting his fellow Marines. And individuals like Coast Guard Signalman First Class Douglas Monroe, who was, change the page, during the Battle of Guadalcanal in 1942, volunteered to evacuate a detachment of Marines facing death in the enemy forces. Monroe maneuvered himself to shield the Marines as they loaded onto the boats, exposing himself to enemy fire and sustaining fatal wounds. Monroe is the only member of the Coast Guard to have received the Medal of Honor. million plus men and women who have died in American military service. And the vast majority are these so-called everyday heroes. They are brothers and sisters who have fought alongside of us, who have unfulfilled holes in families, communities, and hearts across the country. Their friendship, their bravery, and their commitment to duty will never be lost. This is the way of the military, where so often that duty requires soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardmen to put their lives on the line. The men and women who have given their lives in service to this nation are undisputably heroes. When their country called them, they answered. Some volunteered and some were drafted, but no matter how they found themselves in the ranks of the military, each took it upon him or herself to serve faithfully in their fullness. I would like to introduce Eddie Hernandez. Could you please stand, please? They call him Eddie Snake, please. I would like for you to recognize him. To me, he is a hometown hero. On May 9th, 1968 in Vietnam, Specialist Hernandez's company was under intense hostile fire from a battalion of sized enemy forces. With complete disregard to his own safety, Specialist Hernandez remained in exposed position to place effective fire on the enemy's position. On one occasion, his company received fire from the rear. Seeing that many men were helplessly exposed to this fire, Specialist Hernandez picked up an M60 machine gun, further exposing himself to the heavy volume of automatic weapons. This action by Specialist Hernandez saved many U.S. lives that would otherwise have been lost. On July 17, 1968, Specialist Hernandez received a Purple Heart and was awarded the Silver Star for his gallantry in action involving close combat against an armed hostile force in the Republic of Vietnam. Eddie, thank you for your service. Thank you for everything. Thank you.
While acknowledging that service, Eddie Hernandez, front and center. Dan Hernandez, front and center. Let's put these two United States Army, United States Marine Corps Silver Star, Purple Heart recipients together. One veteran meeting another. Different battles, different locations, but brothers in arms, combat veterans. Welcome home to both of you. Danny, shake hands with that young soldier. Up here, guys, front and center, right here. I'd like you right here. Gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats. Gentlemen, don't leave yet. I just would like to point out, they look like every average grandfather, uncle, just two guys that you would meet at the shopping center. But they're heroes, American heroes, United States American heroes, recipient of the Silver Star. Not far from the Congressional Medal of Honor, as the latter goes. As a matter of fact, when we see a recipient of the Silver Star, all of us who served will always acknowledge him and say thank you for your service. So to honor them, what we're going to do right now, and here's what we're going to do. The branch of service, the song will play, and I'd like to have you who served in that branch stand up, render a hand salute, hold it until your next branch comes up. So please, let's begin with the United States Army. Those who serve the United States Army, please stand and render a hand of salute. take your seats. There you go. And the United States Marine Corps, please stand. Render your hand salute. Seats. And for the United States Navy, please stand and render a hand salute. Please take your seats. And for the United States Air Force, please stand and render a hand salute. Please take your seats. And the United States Coast Guard, do we have anyone? Our veterans, will you please stand? And let's all do a hand salute. Veterans, please stand. For the United States Coast Guard and Merchant Marines. And this is to honor them all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you notice, we didn't have anyone from the Coast Guard or the Merchant Marines, but we all stood as veterans because we never leave anyone behind. Right, gentlemen and ladies? That's right. We remember our own. And remembering our fallen and remembering God and country. Let us close with benediction. Father Peter Kenny, will you please come front and center? I've never said that to a priest. Father Kenny, front and center to do benediction. He says, God forgive you.
Now, I'm not very well up in the meanings of different badges and ranks and stars, so please forgive me if I address you as ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my third time to celebrate Memorial Day with you here in Pico, Rivera. Now, I don't get involved very much in, military operations and policies and speeches. My lifestyle is a little different. My mission is different. But this year, I am particularly happy to make a little contribution to our memorial services, our memorial service, because you are honoring the victims, the survivors of the Vietnam era war era. Because I was an auxiliary chaplain for 5 years because there was a communication station in my parish in the Philippines, and they didn't have any Catholic chaplain. So perhaps, in a way, I saw a side of military life that the more elevated may not have seen. 2 years ago, if I recall correctly, I spoke to you about the wonderful work Captain Romanik did in the Philippines by providing elementary and high school scholarships for hundreds and hundreds of poor children who otherwise would never have been able to go to elementary or high school. And that will never be forgotten in that whole area in the Philippines. In actual fact, there is a little plaque in a distant barrio, an outstation, in honor of Captain Frank Romanik. Now, last year I mentioned to you that in 1959 I visited a military cemetery in Anzio in southern Italy. And I saw American names, English names, Irish names, Italian names on those beautiful, on those hundreds and hundreds of beautiful white headstones. And if these kids, and I call them kids, 18, 19, 20 years old, hadn't fought and died, I wouldn't have been able to walk in southern Italy dressed as a priest, dressed as I am now. Because as you know, Italy almost elected a communist government. Now, what I want to say to you this morning about the Vietnamese War is similar. Experts, some experts and historians will probably say that the way it was conducted wasn't America's brightest moment. But I lived in the Philippines all during the Vietnamese War. And I think, you know, that the experts and historians might have missed the most important outcome or result of the Vietnamese War. The American intervention at that time, I firmly believe, saved or halted the advance of communism in that whole area, the avalanche of Russian aggression. In the Philippines at that time, the NPA, New People's Army, communists were quite strong. So much so that, you know, if I wanted to pay my teachers in a distant station, I brought a policeman with me. Otherwise, I would be robbed. One of my neighbors was. And I also had access, you know, to local news in Indonesia, Malaysia, and other neighboring countries. And I believe that if it weren't for American intervention at that time in that area, these countries would not now be free. So on behalf of course, we are honouring all veterans, but I notice that we're honouring the veterans and their families, families of deceased brave people who gave their lives in that area, but we are especially honouring the Vietnamese veterans, the veterans of Vietnamese War. And I want to congratulate those here present, those who lost dear ones in that war. And on behalf perhaps of the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, and other neighboring countries, I congratulate you for what you have accomplished. And so finally, may the blessing of Almighty God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit descend upon you and remain with you forever.
Father Kenny from St. Benedict's. And ladies and gentlemen, you may have noticed the Boy Scouts in the back. They've been there waiting to retrieve the colors. So as I mentioned, everything we do in the military is symbolic. When the colors are posted, they must be symbolically retrieved, and this is what the Boy Scout Troop 115 here in Pico Rivera will do. Boy Scout Troop, hut. Retrieve colors. Stand, ladies and gentlemen. And Boy Scouts, can you stop right there? Can you stop right there? Face the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, join with me as we sing, God Bless America. Bless America. Veterans, a hand salute to Old Glory and to America. Ladies and gentlemen, place your hand over your heart. Let's give the Boy Scouts a big round of applause as they retrieve the colors. Continue, boys. The future of Pico Rivera, the future of America. Right there, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, to the Boy Scouts, Troop 115 here in Pico Rivera. Please take your seats. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the City Council, I'd like to thank you today for attending our Memorial Day ceremony. It has been an outstanding day. I hope you enjoyed the cover we gave you. Years upon years, you've sat there with the hot sun and the hot sun. Well, this year, I think we made a command decision. We said, let's go ahead and cover and make it as comfortable as possible. How about that? Only in Pico Rivera. Once again, I'd like to thank the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, the entire city employees, and everyone who put this together today. The City Council sends their wishes and love to all of you. I, as a former paratrooper who served in the 82nd Airborne, share with all of you who've been in combat, those of us, when we heard the bullets flying, God knows when we were going to come home, but we did, and we're here. But we will never forget our fallen, our friends, our loved ones. This country is a great country. We are a great group of Americans here in Pico Rivera because we love God and country, and I'm proud to say that. We do love God and country in Pico Rivera. We represent this great country. Our names may be hard to pronounce and hard to spell, but I tell you what, at the end of it, just add All-American to it. Garcia, Gomez, Archuleta, Sanchez, just add All-American to it. Hernandez, Sanchez, add All-American to it. Am I right? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We're so proud here in Pico Rivera. So to our veterans, I salute you. I thank you for your service. We would like to invite you for lunch. So right across the street in, where's the building? There it is, right behind me over there. We're going to serve lunch for everyone. So please, we've brought enough food for everyone. So please come up, use the crosswalk, go across the street, have lunch with us. We've got enough for everyone. So our veterans, please, Victor Montana, Salesian High School, come on over. Hey, Danny Hernandez, the City of Commerce, come on over. Everyone, ladies and gentlemen, please come across the street and break bread with us. I'm Bob Archuleta. Thank you. God bless you.